Good morning, and this is a really important and epic week coming up. And if you're watching this as a video, also welcome no matter what time. This is tarot time. And this morning I'm just like looking at the astrology, the numerology, the space weather, what I've been picking up on psychically and what my guides have been telling me. And this is a huge change and a turning point, and everything basically adds up that we're coming into a consciousness revolution. And I'm going to explain that a little bit about what's going on in the world now, the upheaval on many levels that's already happening, that's only going to get stronger. We have a new moon coming up that's going to be in less than 1 degree, I think like 30 arc minutes away from an exact opposition to Pluto. So I'm going to dive into all this stuff and what it all means and how to prepare. But while you guys are getting, people are coming out and getting their notifications, I'll say a few quick hellos. Then we're going to dive into it. I wrote a bunch of stuff in my notes to start off. So yeah, we'll go with that. Then we do some tarot stuff. I do a meditation card for the week. So that's like an energy, like a focal point on our meditation and our ascension work that we can use for the coming week. I do a 3-card spread to pick up on the energies that may be going on in the world around us, or may tap into your own personal life or what's going on in our community. And then I have other divination tools. So we're going to really dive on into this. And I may be a little bit short, quicker today, which may not be the worst thing, just because I personally don't feel well. So I'll see how long I'm going to hang in there, basically. And I know that's part of it, that there's a big purge that's happening, like a big energetic purge. So I'm going to dive into that. Let me just say my hellos. And hello, Lindsay, Jody, welcome, Millie. Thank you. And thank you, everybody's support. I'm still passing a kidney stone, so I'm not in the happiest of spaces right now. And I appreciate all your suggestions, by the way. Some really good suggestions on things that might help to break the stone up or smooth it out before it actually passes through my system. Never had a kidney stone before, so a not so gentle reminder to stay hydrated when it's hot out, to drink your water, right? I'm almost 67, so that's good. Hey, Mary, welcome. Hey, Felicia, Yolanda, Jody, Claire, Star, welcome. Lindsay, Angela. All right. Hi, Lori. If I'm missing people, I apologize. Wow, we've had a nice conversation. Katie Bluebird, Lucretia, welcome, Roseanne, and welcome, India. And hi, Chloe. Happy Sunday, everybody, and thanks for being here. Hello, Josh of Mr. Floyd's Universe. Yeah, it's crazy. So let me dive into my notes. I've got a lot of stuff written out. So I wrote the note where it's conscious revolution. So that's having. Hey, CRTV, Chris, welcome. So they're saying basically, when I was getting up and I haven't had a major digestive purge this morning, they're saying for the next 3 days it's really a good time to really purge, clear, because there's huge energies, there's huge waves of energy. They're talking about 3 separate waves of energy that are all going to hit this week. This is like the master teachers, the group that I work with when I channel. I know a lot of people aren't feeling well. I got some between my Facebook posts and my and the posts that I did here on YouTube, a lot of people saying, especially people that are doing spiritual work, like other psychics are going through like health stuff. But it's all part of the shift, and we're not our bodies, and I remember that, and I've been really kind of in and out of body during this whole experience. So it's actually been a spiritual experience. And the first night, my digestive system shut down for a whole day. I after about 14 or 15 hours, I could start peeing again, but I couldn't, pass gas, or not to be disgusting, or poop for over a day. And the gas pains were tremendous. So I was lying awake, trying to just get a little bit of shut eye. Then these big thunderstorms moved through, just like this whole heavy rain. Just felt like this whole cleansing and clearing and purging energy was happening. So the next 3 days, and that's leading into really amazing, powerful, and crazy new moon that's coming up on Thursday. and there'll be more information. I'll do my new moon forecast. I'll dive more into that. It's so aspected with the outer planets. It's crazy, crazy. And then tomorrow I'm going to shoot a video about the next 3 months, what this means going forward. It's going to be, this is it. This is what we've been talking about for, gosh, since 2021, 2022 here on the channel, what we've been preparing for. Now it's really happening. And how that's going to manifest and what the world's going to look like after, I don't know. It's like, psychic, connected to spirit, getting messages or whatever. I don't know. I just know it's going to really change, and I know it's an upgrade, and I know we're purging a lot of the old. We're coming to higher vibrations. That's going to tear down the old systems of the world that are unsustainable because they're built on greed and power over others, not built on the foundation of spirit, love, compassion, and oneness with each other. So I know it's going to change a lot. How it's going to change. We'll ride this out together, and you guys that have been amazingly supportive here on the Medium channel. My heart goes out to you, because I never dreamed that doing a YouTube channel would attract so many high vibrational, positive people to this community. So it's really been an amazing journey, I have to say. So we're in this together, and we will continue to be in this together through this whole transition point, which is going to be still going on for years. And no, we're not going to all of a sudden flip a button and we're all going to be in 5D. It just don't work that way. No matter how many faceless YouTube channels are telling you that's absolutely not how it's going to work. I'll put it this way, 99.999%. But at the same time, if we do have a dimensional shift, like if we do all go into a higher dimension, would we even know it? Because we'll still be living our lives. So, there's many ways of looking at that, right? So let me, as promised, give you what I wrote down. So several waves of high cosmic energy to the new moon, about 30 arc minutes from the exact opposition of Pluto. So in lay terms, that's less than 1 degree. That's an exact opposition. That's right at the moment when the moon is new. That's an exact sun-moon conjunction. That's what a new moon is. We're also coming into eclipse season. So the moon and the sun, latitudinally or in an east-west, like they're conjunct from a north-south perspective, but they're not exactly conjunct because the moon is still below the sun, is still below the solar arc line, the elliptical. But that's going to change in next month, or I think it's September is the eclipse season, right? Not August. So in a couple of months, and that's when the moon and the sun during the full new and full moons actually line up with the solar transitions. It's right on the arc line. What's the right word? The elliptical. And that's when a new moon will come into an exact conjunction, longitudinally, latitudinally, and that's called an eclipse because when they're in exact alignment, the moon blocks the sun, right? So that's an eclipse. So that's when eclipse seasons happen. When the full and new moons line up with the lunar nodes, that's eclipse seasons. And lunar nodes are in Virgo and Pisces right now. So anyway, 30 arc minutes from exact opposition to Pluto. So it's conjunct the sun. So the sun and moon are also going to sextile Uranus. They're going to trine the Neptune-Saturn conjunction. That's also under 1 degree of an exact conjunction. So this is going on for a while. All 4 of the outer planets, Saturn and beyond, have been in harmonious alignment, and that's going to continue. I think in well into 2026 also. I believe it's going to continue for a good while. And that's really huge. Now, on top of that, there's a lot of space weather that's coming in. We have another coronal hole that creates a high stream solar wind that destabilizes the ionosphere. It creates more magnetic fluctuation, and that affects the planet. So if there's any fault lines that are ready to go, that could be a catalyst for that. That also with the new moon, because a new moon and a full moon brings, it's only 0.005 or whatever, increase, but it doesn't increase the gravitational stress on the planet. That's every new moon and full moon, and that's why the tides are more extreme also. So we have that going on. We have Pluto in an exact opposition, even though Pluto's very far away and exerts, virtually no gravitational effect. It still has an energetic effect. So things like that. And then I feel, although this hasn't happened yet, that sunspot activity is going to increase. So we may even have some solar flares. This is all happening right around the 24th. That's when the new moon is. So between, I'd say, the 24th and 25th, I would say that the Earth is on a very high earthquake and volcano watch during that time. There's no way of knowing exact where that is unless I get a vision or a direct psychic hit, which happens, but usually it's more general information. But Japan is very highlighted, thanks partly to Rio Suzuki, am I pronouncing her name, and others that predicted a big earthquake, volcano, land splitting in the month of July in 2025. But also there's been earthquake swarms, there's been volcanoes, one of the islands has split, so there's a lot going on. There's been two 7+ earthquakes in the last week, so it's gearing up and it's warming up. We haven't had a 7+, I think, for at least two months before that. The second one just happened in Russia on the Ring of Fire. The first one that you guys know about was in the Aleutian Islands off of Alaska. So there's that. So what's going to happen? More floods, right? This is something that I've been forecasting specifically for the month of July. That was one of the main points of it. There's going to be a month of a lot of floods. China, oh my God, heat waves. All over the globe. This is making things very geologically active, but it's also affecting the weather systems because there's more energy coming into the atmosphere. So that's going to enhance weather systems also. Besides my own knowledge as a meteorologist, I draw a lot from Stefan Burns. That's a great channel if you want to understand more of the relationship between space weather and geology. He's a geophysicist, and his channel's exploding because he's a good guy. He's very smart and he's very spiritual too. So I recommend that. And all you guys that have YouTube channels, post your links. This is an order from Star Central. Post your YouTube links. So yeah, we're talking to you, Josh, and everybody else that has a YouTube channel, because I'm not going to go through the shout outs because I got too much to talk about. And that way people can come into your communities also and benefit from what you have to share as well. So what else here? Active sunspots. So watch Japan, earthquake swarms. There's also been earthquake swarms around Mount Rainier and other parts of the world. So also a lot of activity in West Yellowstone. That's something that we predicted. So anyway, we're also seeing huge uptake of world protest, revolutionary activity in a lot of different countries. I heard. And, we also have to understand that all lines of communication, news or whatever, are potentially corrupt. So I try to cross-reference. But from what I understand, there's a lot going on in Europe. In England, there's the AI face recognition that people are really up in arms about because it's really a violation of spying on people, basically. It's like Big Brother's watching. So you're walking down the street, your face gets recognized. Great. And they say it's to, take criminals off the street. In theory, that's a great idea, but we know there's always subversive activity because as long as there's corruption and there's greed and those in power want to maintain and exert more power over others, it's going to be used for the wrong purposes. Innocent people may wind up being accused to be criminals, and that's just a part of it. So a lot of people up in arms. All over the world, revolutionary, evolutionary activity. I started this live stream today by saying this is a full-on consciousness revolution that we're in and we're really coming into. We're going to see in August, and this is a little sneak preview because I'm going to do a whole video on this on Tuesday. We're going to just see the shift, and a lot of people. It's already starting, actually. It's already starting, and I think it's going to really start to peak more in August, that a lot of people are going to have awakenings. And those of us that are doing the work and continuing to, do the purge now, leading up to the new moon. It's time to be clear because there's higher frequencies that are affecting our bodies, affecting our energy field. We don't want a clogged system because that bogs down the energy and that creates problems in the body. Yeah, hello. I've had kidney stones, digestive problems all weeks. Hello. So I'm listening to my own advice also to be clear about that. And there's more. There's the Epstein files drama, which I think is part distraction, to be honest. There's building the AI network up. The AI bill got approved in the U.S. Or cryptocurrency bill, excuse me. To me, that feels like leveraging more control over money, basically, because cryptocurrency is basically, to me, could be a lead into digital currency or a system where basically AI is monitoring your financial movements and stuff like that, making sure you're a good boy and girl and all that. Of course, it's for our own protection, right? So we should be happy that our governments are taking such good care of us to spy on how we're spending money and what we're doing in the world to keep everybody safe, right? So there's that. And this all leads into the Lionsgate portal. So the dog days of summer start, July 28th, I think, when the star Sirius first becomes visible in the pre-dawn hours. This also called the dog star. So that's where we get the dog days of summer that coming up. And that starts to open the Lionsgate portal, which is an annual numeric and energetic portal that's known for consciousness. And it's right, it peaks on 8/8 and between either August 7th or August 8th, depending on what year you're in or what part of the world you're on, maybe August 9th also. That's when we're at 15 degrees Leo, right at the heart of Leo. And that's the midway point between the summer solstice and the fall equinox. So that's the secondary world axis, the 15 degrees of the fixed side, because those are right in the exact center points between solstices and equinoxes. For those that study astrology or know astrology, the world axis probably is 0 degrees of the cardinal signs. 0 degrees, that would be Aries, Libra, Capricorn, or Cancer, right? They lead the seasons. So anyway, what else in my notes here? Yeah, that's basically it. Also, there's evidence that a polar shift is happening again. I don't think a polar flip yet, but that changes a lot of the geology, makes things unstable. The Earth respond. The Earth, the atmosphere, the cosmos, they're all connected. They're all one. They're only separated by illusion, by the illusion of physicality, but then energetically, they're all connected. And we also had very recently, not to be underscored, two nova explosions reaching the Earth. They were probably over 1,000 light years away, but they just reached the Earth within the last month or two, and that's gamma rays. So that affects the system also. So all this energy is being fed into the system. It's expanding and enhancing consciousness. It's tearing down the old. We're still in this July 16 month where the tower is falling. It is falling now as we speak, and it's just adding energy into the collective consciousness, into the Earth fields, and into the Earth systems. That includes weather, climate, crazy weather all over the globe, right? So, on that note, hello everybody. They came in new. Let me just see what you guys are saying. And yes, this is tarot time. Yes, we are going to do tarot, believe it or not. All coming up with the corruption. Thank you. Yeah. And more to come. Yeah. In the end, it'll all be exposed. Yeah. It's a process. And that's what I really try to let people know. It's a process. Even though I've been predicting big exposure of corruption, I've been kind of not pulling back on it, but just kind of, what's the right word? Mitigating it slightly, saying there's still going to be more to expose. It's not all going to come out at once, basically. All right. So Mary's saying I wanted to start a channel, but my issue is that I don't know exactly what. We'll talk. I could think of a couple things for you. There are a number of subjects I can do. I do not want anything about the workplace. Yeah, I don't blame you for that. Lots of live and healing. Yeah. love and healing, I think you're saying. Thank you so much. Yeah. Um, Thank you, Yolanda. Thank you for your love. Yeah. Yeah, it can all be overlapping. Congratulations. Well, congratulations, Felicia. I don't know what we're congratulating. Uh, and they have traffic light reading cameras and it'll be AI generated soon. Don't you worry about that. I make sure, if I'm going through like an easy pass, that I'm not going over the speed limit, because I know that they're filming. I know there's cameras on there. Again, if I hope I'm not spreading misinformation, because I'm relying on what I see on the internet from different sources, and I know things are corrupt. But from what I heard, it's a Trump bill that I believe it may have passed, or maybe just passed the Congress, which means it would still have to pass the Senate. So I may have my facts a little bit off on that, and it's important that we be factual, right? So if I'm not, why are we congratulating Felicia? I've got to go back. You're in a shock. I received subscribe merit rate. Congratulations. All right. This is what we're congratulating you for. And we can't post. All right. I get it. So you can't post links on the chat. Thank you for that. Well, we'll start with Mr. Floyd's Universe. That's Josh. He has a beautiful community he built on his channel. That's really, we're kind of interactive with our community. So a lot of you guys go to him. He does every morning, right? That you're doing Good Dawning with Mr. Floyd. So a lot of spiritual stuff. Felicia also has a channel. Lakeside Laura does, which I love your Lexus chats and other things you post. And if you can't post your link, just let Spirit Guide. She does her readings every week on her channel. So just if you can't post your link, just let us know you have a channel. Thank you so much. Let's do some tarot, as promised. Spirit only wants you to sing, Mary. Let me hi current comment. So keep practicing your singing, David. Oh, different David. Okay, I need his help. This is or is it the same David? So I need his help. He's being difficult. I think you're talking about a different David. Yeah. Well, YouTube is weird. I know it is. Yeah. No Good Dawning with Mr. Floyd tomorrow due to work stuff. So every now and then, life interrupts our YouTube universe, right? YouTube is weird, Lindsay. I agree. Yeah. Well, let's say hi to Lindsay. Hi, Lindsay. YouTube is weird. And we have two Lauras in. So we have Lakeside Laura and Let's Spirit Guide Laura also. Both have YouTube channels. Isn't that synchronistic? So I wanted to do a meditation card. So let me clear my mind a second. Right to this one. And this one is, I like this card, 8 of Pentacles. So August is going to be a universal 8 month. So that's going to add a little bit of numerological to the Lionsgate portal, the 8-8 portal. It's actually a 17-month in numerology, but 1 and 7 is 8. And 8 of Pentacles, this is like the crafts person. This is, building. So what are we building? So maybe our theme of meditation is, let's you forget about everything falling in the world for a moment. And when you meditate, it's like, what are you building? When everything crashes, the phoenix rises, right? When the economy crashed in, what year is the Great Depression? 29, was it? Everybody was losing their shirts, everything. And I've told the story many times, not to bore the regulars, but what did the Gallo brothers do? They built a little roadside stand. They sold wine. They became millionaires during the Great Depression. So there's always opportunities out there. And so And this could be a guide that's going to, guide you to what your next opportunity, what you're going to build in your life. Because as the world changes, and we come into new earth energy, we're going to have new assignments, as it were, new paths, new callings. But it's all based on everything that we've learned and done up until now. So when people ask me, what's, my life direction, my life calling, or whatever, I mean, as a medium, spirit will only point them in the direction. That's just how spirit works, because we learn most through our own self-realization, right? So if I say, well, you're meant to study a certain form of Reiki, and then Hawaiian healing, and then go to the to the to Ireland, and open up a school or whatever. It's like I'm not allowing them to get their own information. Like I'm not allowing them that experience to to find their own answers, right? So what we do, what our guides do, is to point us in the direction so we can find our own truths, basically. And an old saying from my martial arts teacher, which has always stuck with me till now, and it's true, that within every question lies its own answer, if you understand the nature of the question. So when you have a question, really understand what that question really is, and then the answers within that question. Hopefully that makes sense. So how to meditate with tarot cards. So what you do is, or what I do, there's many ways to meditate with tarot cards, but what I do and what I recommend, like any other meditation, get present, clear your mind. If you want to do this quickly, just take a deep cleansing breath or two. Let your shoulders relax. Let all the weight come off your shoulders, all the tension off your shoulders, chin and cheeks, and then forehead and temples. And if you relax those principal points of tension, your whole body's going to follow. It only takes, once you're trained, and I train, and I will train those of you that are going to the retreat in August here in the Catskills, how to do this. I'll have information in the pinned comment for that. That you can go anywhere from about 5 to 10 seconds. You can drop into a receptive, light trance meditation state. And it's just by doing that. I already taught you. Well, come to the retreat for other reasons, because we're going to teach you how to break the matrix and how to get out of this whole programming machine, and this whole lower stratum of energy that we're here in this physical plane. We're going to learn how to transcend that in order to grow spiritually and to achieve freedom. It's going to be a really high and spiritual retreat, and I'm so looking forward to it. The more I work on my notes with it, the more I'm just thanking spirit, because it's going to be amazing. And that's happening August 1st to 3rd in the Catskill Mountains. Very, very price friendly also. So I'm going to leave information on the pinned comment. So get very relaxed, and then just be aware, like be very present. What are you feeling? Then in your mind, step into the card, and then what are you feeling? How do you feel different? Don't you necessarily think to yourself, but set a general intention. Being aware, being present, and just aware of what you're feeling, seeing, sensing, smelling, tasting in your mind. And then we step in. It's a new energy and a new reality. So then what do you so that's the start. It's like, what are you feeling, and what are you seeing? Because this is just the doorway. There's a whole new reality that you're stepping into. Who's this guy that's building, the craftsperson? And maybe they're going to help you to build something amazing in your life, or you may get different messages, but this is the card. So it's the 8 of Pentacles. This is the Hanson Roberts deck. If you have your own tarot cards, you can pull your own eight of Pentacles. If not, just take a little mental snapshot of this, and you got it. Okie dokie. So let me do our 3 card spread now. Now that we're halfway in. Thank you, everybody. Wow, so that sounds very powerful. Does Carla be in right now? Or I know who Laura is. So you had some group meditation. Very good. Oh, Laura and Carla. That's a crash person, exactly. Yeah. I wish you could go too, Laura. Yeah. There'll be others, but Well, if your plans change, surprisingly, there's still openings. And honestly, I thought that I'd have to like turn people away because it's just so important and relevant work. So I think some of you may be meant to come. Being that it's only 2 weeks away. So this juncture, there's still openings. Well, enjoy. Yeah, that's important too. Oh, that sounds good. I hope you guys can hook up. Yeah. Um, what else? And if I haven't, hi, other Laura. Here's other Laura. um, and remembering my son was a baby. So Amma would be others. You be Amma, Laura. All right. All right. So mixing cards up. So let me clear my mind and do our 3 card spread. If you guys came in a little bit late, we got a lot of information out in the beginning. I don't want to repeat it all over again, but you know what to do. When we're done, go back to the beginning and you'll get all of that. This card's coming out on its own, so we're going to pull it. When they come out on the road, I think, all right, we're going to take that card. And very good. Okay. You get a bonus card this week. 4 is Uranus rule. Numbers of change, of sudden release of energy, of thinking outside the box, of non-conformity. Now, four cards actually fit on my clipboard. Well, this 4th card's a winner. The 4th one that wanted to come out, the 10 of Pentacles. Yeah, that's that could be synonymous with like financial windfalls, basically. 10 is a very powerful version of the number 1 because in tarot it's actually a completion, but in numerology it's a new beginning. So it's a very interesting thing. And we see 3 generations of family. That's what's getting my attention. 3 generations of family here. We have, this is Adam with the beard, the great granddad or the grandfather. This is my son, and although he wouldn't have that this partner, but we can pretend, and his children that he doesn't have yet, basically. So anyway, so it's kind of a completion energy. It kind of feels to me like a structure, building a structure, and I think part of the message of that. Well, I could see this a couple of ways. For us in this community, this is really a good time to really maybe think about like what needs to be built up now in order to be very successful. It doesn't have to just be money. It could be spiritually successful, emotionally successful. But it's also very grounding energy. On the other hand, this could be connection with your soul family, right? Different beings of light that are part of your soul group, but they've ascended, so they don't come back to Earth like we do. They help us to ascend also. And looks like there's, I don't know if that's a pet, some kind. I'm not sure what this is. I can't really tell. It might be a dog. I don't know. First it looked like a monkey, but I have a feeling it's something completely different. But to be honest, there's a castle in the background. Very cool. This is a Hanson Roberts deck. And yeah, and there's wealth. So anyway, the idea is things will be rebuilt. The Fool card. So we start the week off with the Fool card. A spirit before manifestation, a level of innocence and trust. Fool energy needs to be balanced with common sense. And when that happens, you're the wise fool. When that doesn't happen, you're the foolish fool, basically. Like, what's an appropriate risk? Like, it's fine to step off the precipice and not knowing where you're going to fall, to have that faith and trust and everything. But maybe, practice your landings before you do that. That's just a little metaphor, I guess. You practice it, how you're going to roll, when you hit the ground, that kind of a thing. So the Fool's got his white rose, that spirit, right? And then, it's interesting. In this depiction, there's no dog, but usually the Fool card has a dog. That's the ally, the helper, basically. He's looking up at the sky. It's almost like he's looking at spirit, and he's walking off the precipice, and he's got his home, on his back, basically. So this is really about, you're stepping out of the norm. It's, again, spirit before manifestation. So it represents the void. It's key 0 in tarot, right? 0, the Fool. 0 is the number of the void. Where where this reality came out of nothingness. So 1 is the manifestation, 2 is the duality, and 3 is the energies that change and affect physical reality. That's the 369 code, which Tesla talks a lot about. This is also showing a lot of emotional release, a lot of purging. The 5 of Cups reversed, the Queen of Cups reversed. And I think for some of us, we're getting new energy. Like I said, it's not just me. A lot of us are having a lot of spiritual shifts, a lot of energetic shifts. After my episode, my trip to the emergency room, lovely little visit. For those of you in the Catskills area or the mid, Hudson Valley, and you need to go to the ER, if you're close enough, go to Margaretville Hospital. I went in there. It was clean. They were all friendly. There was nobody waiting. I went right in, and they were very professional. Now, if I went to Kingston Hospital, it's a whole different vibe. Trust me, I would have probably been waiting there for 2 hours if it was a late day. I'll put it that way. But anyway, that said, it was a big energetic purge. And when I came out of that, my body and my energy fields were buzzing in a way they haven't before. And trust me, I'm always feeling, the buzz, the flow, chi, prana, whatever you call it. As long as I'm not thinking and I take a moment, I just feel currents of energy. I think it's gone up like 2 or 3 fold, to be honest. And I'm getting a lot of digestive purging now. So we're being upgraded, basically. And it really starts by going back into the void, that place, that cosmic womb where we all came from, right? Where everything came from. And then as these new beginnings and new energies hit, what is it doing? It's dislodging the old. So we have to be willing to face our shadows, to face our own demons, right? Because at the end, the demons are the coyotes. They're the teachers. They're not evil or negative. We just have them because they're a reflection of our programming. They're a reflection of, not who we are, but what we become, due to the separation of us and great spirit, basically. So when we separate from our divine source, then we become vulnerable to these lower energies and entities. And although it seems like they're just here to fuck with us or mess with us or whatever, they're really teachers at the end of the day. And if you really dig deeper into the Bible and the story of Lucifer, you can see hints of that. And the story of the Husa Coyote, the Native American legend, the trickster that tricks us into learning, similar vibe and similar energy. So we have to be willing to let go and purge. So I highly recommend doing at least a 24-hour fast. I'd say, I think 36 is right in that sweet spot, unless you're going to do a deep purge fast. Then you go for like 7 to 10 days. But if you're just doing, what would be kind of periodic or interval fasting, I think, anywhere from like 18 to 36 hours, especially if it's just a water fast or maybe a little bit of lemon, but that can upset your stomach if you're not eating. And there's other ways of purging, shadow integration. There's spirit saying, how about just doing simple like white light meditation or golden light, where you just get very relaxed, meditate, take your deep breaths, and then just become aware, because there's always light that's coming through us. That's happening in the physical level. It's called cosmic radiation, solar radiation, but it's happening on an energetic level also. So science and spirituality are starting to come more together, and as more is discovered in science, they're going to come together more. So you can visualize, and when you visualize and set an intention and feel it, you're actually working with the cosmos to make it real. So that's why intentions are important. So I just relax. I'm not thinking, but in my state of presence, I'm still able to set mental intentions without going into my personal mind. Takes a little bit of practice, so develop a meditation practice so you too can do that and take advantage of these exercises. So when I do that, I just imagine, visualize, set the intention that cosmic light comes through my crown, through my body, through my roots, comes through my transpersonal chakras out through the earth star into the earth. and that light is cleansing and purging my energetic fields. I just sit with that. Now, another way you could do this is get out into nature, find a tree, get your back to the tree, because trees are actually, some trees bring energy up, some other trees bring energy down, and others do both. I found that out when I had it was like a spiritual thing that happened in the wood, where this tree started talking to me. Long story, um, but feel the trees, and use your intuition and find a tree where you feel the energies are strong, and descending energies. Just meditate with your spine against the tree, and let the tree help bring those energies through you to cleanse and purge and clear, and feel your roots deep like the earth's roots. So we want to be deeply rooted during all time, but this time of great purge, and where there's so much energy, we need to be grounded. Otherwise, we could, have some problems. Basically, we're in the earth field for a reason. So we want to be anchored into the earth, and the more anchored we are, the higher levels of energy we can transcend through us. Basically, if we're not grounded, we kind of get a little bit lost in the energy. It becomes more nebulous and undefined, and it's not really serving you as much anyway. So we've always been talking about grounding, even when I started to do spiritual teaching, back in really in earnest in the 90s, where it's a big thing, open the upper chakras, and people were even telling me, the lower chakras are evil, they're of the earth or whatever. And I was like, no, it don't work that way. You develop your lower chakras, your lower triangle, your root, your sacral, your solar plexus, starting with the root. You get them strong. And when they're strong, then your heart-brain coherence is going to work much better. And then your upper chakras develop also, because when you open the heart, you send energy through the throat, and you ignite the brain. Basically, because the heart and the brain are actually two sides of the same energetic field, if that makes sense. So anyway, so a lot of purging. So what about in the world? Well, a lot of things around money coming up. I think there's a female that's really stirring the pot when it comes to issues around the U.S. government, maybe other governments also. So we see a lot of, I was going to say governments falling, but they pop the words in my mind, government crackdown. So we're seeing more of that. We're already seeing that, to be honest. So this is a combination of now casting as well as forecasting right now. But I think that's only going to increase, and we see a lot of protests, but we need to be organized. So and when you connect with your higher self, I mean, not all of us are meant to go out there and demonstrate, but if you have a calling to do that, and I'm not saying, and to be clear, make it a spiritual calling, not a fear-based one. It's like, if you're worried about what's going on in the world and seeing all the doom and gloom on Facebook or whatever, or you're really unhappy with the present governments, whatever it is, and feeling like, I got to do something, I'll go out and protest, I'll go out and do that. You're only feeding the problem, because you're acting out of fear and anger and distrust. So if you're able to purge that and connect with spirit, you're going to get the actions that are going to support the solution, basically. So and there's nothing wrong with being angry. So I'm not saying to not have emotions. I mean, I see things that make me angry also, but learn how to separate that from what you're getting from spirit, and then your actions are going to be much more effective. They're not going to feed this fear and anger programming that we're all being subject to, that's being propagated through the media circus, I'll put it that way, through the politicians and all of that stuff. So hopefully that makes some sense. I want to do some other divination cards. I was going to say, I think there's a female. I mean, I don't think it's Maxwell, although she's very active right now. Could be, but I think, somebody else that's really speaking out, against, our current administration, our current president. Again, there's a lot of conjecture with the Epstein files, and a lot of things going on, a lot of turmoil there. But I think we're seeing, that, and I think a lot, like a new round of funding for through like companies like Raytheon, Lockheed Martin that fund that equip the wars with weapons, basically, and stuff like that. This could also represent some negotiation. Don't be surprised if it could be even Russia, Ukraine, if all of a sudden it's like we're going to talk and we're going to work something out. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen this fast, but stuff like that. So anyway, I'm going to move on from this because I know there's other things. I just wanted to just see what you're saying. And this is kind of, this is kind of what I'm saying. That I think the majority of processors are not educated on what they're processing about. Yeah, exactly. That's why we want to connect more with spirit. Hi, Katie. Let me flip, or K-Die. Karmic or soul tribe, a soulmate, twin flame, etc. is not what I look at. Suppose more macros, soil or soul tribe, yet his name too. It's all beautiful and fascinating and wonderful. Thank you. Well, congratulations if you've connected with a soulmate. Prefer the term rally. Fair enough. Rally. That's a different energy. I mean, demonstration works too. Riot doesn't work. Right? Okay. Yeah, I like that. Rally. Peaceful. When I hear the word rally, I think more peaceful. So good call there, Lindsay. Thank you. Hello, Andrea. Welcome. You're only pouring energy into a negative situation. I think, and I presume you're saying if you're just reacting and out of fear and anger, right? I think that's what you're saying. But anyway, welcome. I haven't you only agree as the government. Yes, today we have protests, so thank you. I always love it when somebody like yourself that found me through the short speed, comes onto the longer videos. Protesting what you resist persists. Great, good call. Exactly. So let's not call it a protesting. Let's call it a rally. Let's call it a gathering of light. How about that? A rally of light. I love you guys. Thank you so much. And thanks for keeping me honest also. I appreciate you guys. So I've got the Native American cards here also. Yeah, we talked a little bit about in the beginning that we talked a lot about what's going on with the magnetic field and the solar activity and how that's feeding the terrestrial activity. But my senses are indeed increasing. Yes, it's just the science of magnetic versus others as masculine or feminine. When we attract more soul and soul swaps, been huge as mind energy. Very good. Thank you. Hello, Suzette. Welcome, Suzette Sunnyverse. Always a pleasure. Thank you, Bobby Ballistic. Welcome. And anybody that that's been commenting that I haven't displayed your comments, it's just because I didn't see it, or I'm not playing favorites, just to be clear. So let me just this is the Native American tarot. This could give us some more message. So the world, the world 21. Interesting. There's a terrapin. Where are the deadheads? Terrapin Station. So the world, and he's on the turtle. That's the turtles represent the earth, right? The terrapins, and he's on and there's a trio. I love the symbolism. Basically, it's like the turtle's like Gaia, and the tree's coming out of Gaia, and it's like there's one tree, and they've done some studies. I mean, I don't know. I'm not privy to a lot of things, so it's part conjecture and things that I've seen, but they found like some frequency connection between all the trees on the planet, basically. And we know, like in a forest, that the roots interconnect and that the trees communicate and that they're alive. And a good exercise when you go out hiking in the woods, or if it's the desert, you can do the same thing with the stones and the cacti or whatever, or cactuses, whatever works for you. But I like to, take a few deep breaths, get very present, and just feel the energies. And you'll feel the trees, and they'll grab you if you're in tune enough. They'll grab you and give you messages, and you'll feel that they're really all connected. They're working synergistically. It's not just one tree; it's a network of consciousness that are working together, basically. And then the birds, all the animals, the trees, it's all interconnected, basically. And the idea is, we're so programmed to limit, to cut ourselves off from just feeling energy and feeling flow, a very basic human ability that 97+% of people are not able to do because they've been so programmed to block that. And that's awakening, that's spiritual awakening, the ability to feel energy, to beginning the ability to start to understand and experience your life from the perspective of who you are, a spirit, not as the programmed ego, basically. Um, and that's where it begins. The awakening is the beginning of the journey. It's not the destination, at least in my way of seeing things. You might have a different take, and that's fine. That's what makes this community great, is that we all, speaking of the Native Americans, we're all on the medicine wheel, seeing the feather in the middle. If I'm on the north, I might be seeing an elongated feather. If you're on the west, you might see a short, fat, stubby one. But it's the same feather. It's your point of view is what's different. Not the feather is not different. So that's really important to know. So I love the Native American wisdom. So the world is it's Saturn energy, it's grounding energy. I think spirits reminding us, because maybe I didn't talk about it enough earlier, to practice your grounding and to stay grounded, basically. Oh, sounds like I got somebody's attention. Yeah, and the interesting thing is we're only at 50 live also. So yeah, I think that that we've got their attention. Okay, interesting. I've got the medicine cards also. Yeah, censorship is something that really needs to come out. People really need to wait. But yeah, we see your comments, so hopefully not. Oh, hi, Midnight Carry. So it's not just me. All right, that makes me feel better. I mean, in a way, I've had certain videos that did amazing on the metrics for the fellow YouTubers. I've had videos getting over 12% CTR, click-through rate on my subscribers. You're staying on a long time, loaded comment stream from the amount of people, and then it doesn't get picked up by the algorithm. Then if I do something that's a little bit more trite with similar metrics, it goes out, basically. So, and they do remove some comments. They absolutely have been doing that. It's the algorithm. It doesn't necessarily mean somebody's watching us. It's just the way the algorithm's programmed. And the algorithm is programmed for a certain effective society, right? The algorithm is trying to guide the thinking, so that it's selective on what you see, and you get rewarded if you post certain things that the algorithm picks up. Usually, it's the divisive ones, right? The ones that are aimed to divide and to make people angry and fearful. Those are the ones that the algorithm will pick up. If I talk about spirituality and what we need to do to clear the divide, it's like crickets, basically. So, it's all programmed that way. The powers that be do not want humanity to awaken. They are working extremely hard to try to suppress it. That's why I'm encouraging you guys to think about coming to the Escape the Matrix retreat, the Spirit Fest 2025. We're going to teach you how you can override that. And a lot of people have a hard time meditating because this lower vibrational frequency permeates this matrix, this Maya, this illusion that we're living in. And it purposely makes it harder for us to ascend. But there's techniques you can employ to break through that. And then all of a sudden you'll start to be able to meditate without distraction, and be able to connect more with higher sources. And actually even not that hard to do, but it does take a lot of practice, because it's really changing your whole structure programming to do it. But yeah, so anyway, Native American. Yeah, so they do they do that. Oh, we got the snake. We're in the year of the snake also. This is a very powerful medicine because it's about transmutation, it's about alchemy. So we turn all this negativity, the algorithm, all the stuff, the control system or whatever, and transmute that into medicine. So what is one of the attributes of the snake is it transmutes poison into medicine. Snake venom can be a very powerful medicine. It's all of how it's applied, right? Too much will kill you, just the right amount can heal you, right? So it's also about shedding old skin, and it's about healing. It's very powerful, divine, feminine healing energy. And we're in the year of the snake. We are shedding the old skin of corruption in this world and consciousness. And getting back to like the matrix, the illusion, like all this like negative input or whatever, it's not negative. It's what we signed up for. So I want to qualify that a little bit and not leave a bad taste in people's mouths about that. No, the matrix is our teacher. Escaping the matrix isn't what a lot of people think. Escaping the matrix is tantamount to embracing the matrix, to knowing on all levels how this matrix works and how we're indoctrinated into it. So we want to walk with it. We want to embrace it. We want to befriend it. And that's how you escape it, basically. So it's not negative or evil. It's what is. It's what we've chosen to evolve and grow at this time of our spiritual evolution in this collective reality that we're sharing, this 3D reality. So the serpent, the snake, will help you to do that also. And I've been seeing a lot of dragons. Where's Brooke, our dragon queen? I don't think she's on live, but seeing a lot of dragons in the clouds and just designs or whatever. So dragons, what they do, they breathe fire, they protect, they can destroy, they can create. They're very protective, and they're very powerful beings, very powerful mythical beings. So this is a very powerful medicine for this week. Very transformative. And again, Pluto's going to be opposing the new moon, so that's extremely potent, transformative energy that we're coming in. And again, for those that missed the beginning, well, I encourage you to go back to the beginning when we're done here. But the next 3 days, this is the time to purge, cleanse, clear, emotionally, energetically, mentally, and physically. If you don't do incremental fasting, at least do a lot of water cleansing but through meditation also. So anyway, I've got a few more things to talk about, and so far so good. I've been hanging in there just fine. I've got 2 different angel decks today. Let me do this one. They're both Doreen Virtue decks. Despite her change of perspective, I still love her older work. It still speaks to me. So this is the angel messages from the angels deck. So what the angels are saying here is Azure. Your desired outcome will occur in the very near future. Have patience and faith, and don't try to force it to happen. Right? When we force it to happen, we're coming from a fear lack mentality, right? And we're blocking it. So you just have to feel like it's already real. And hello, Joe Dispenza, Bob Proctor, Wayne Dyer, all the greats, that teach us this. So when we have faith and we really feel like it's real, because it is, even if it's not physically relevant, everything exists and all time exists. Then it's happening. And that really kind of, let me see, kind of fits in with this outcome here, right? With this 10 of Pentacles, because this is like whatever, it could be money, it could be other things. This is about riches and wealth and a positive completion with that. So the angels are supporting the message there. And my other angel deck's called Angel Therapy. So I wanted to pull an Angel Therapy card today also. I do too. Hi, Midnight Apothecary, if I didn't see you earlier. Exactly the point. Let's not hate on her. I know a lot of people that I respect, that friends also that have gone that route. it's at this time it's not my cup of tea, but at the same time, I do speak to Yeshua or Jesus daily. I do see him a lot also. So I think we're all working with and processing Christ consciousness in our own ways, basically. So thank you for that. That was a great message, Midnight Apothecary. Thank you. Exactly, Linda Goff. Path. I love Grave Raiden. I do too. I saw. I think it 2002 was when I saw him at Lilydale. 2003, right around then. He predicted this whole like thing with the crypto and the changes of currency in the 2020s back then. I mean, he's full on genius. The the not irony, that's the wrong word, but the funny thing is that he started like he's what a bioengineer. He's an engineer, right? And he worked many years for the defense contract companies, and then he had his epiphany and took his training into more of a spiritual direction. But then again, we shouldn't label things spiritual or non-spiritual. How do I know that defense contracting is not spiritual, right? Maybe it's of the coyote. Maybe this has to happen for us to ascend and evolve, right? So I think one of the messages is be careful how we judge, because it's programming. And when we become aware of it, then we're transcending the programming in that moment, right? So it's like, I am programmed to think defense contracting is negative. Why? Because people get hurt, people die. Good reason for it, right? But it's still programming, right? So instead, recognize maybe there's a greater message, and then the feeling of pity for those that suffer turns into the higher vibration or the higher octave of pity, which is compassion. Then you understand that there's a divine purpose to it, and you send lots of energy and love to ease that suffering, right? So anywho, from the angel therapy, manifestation power. Wow, I sense a theme. And we're coming up to a new moon. So manifest. The energies are so strong now. What is it you desire? Feel like it's real. Be grateful that it's real. Don't try to make it happen. Don't force anything. Just be grateful, because everything's perfect in the moment. And even if you don't physically have your desire, well, this moment is preparing you for that, to be grateful for it. And what it says is, use your spiritual gifts and natural abilities to attract your desired outcomes. So that's a great message there also. Oh, Dolores. Yes, we haven't given Dolores a shout out yet. She's amazing also. And I tend to talk a lot about Joe Dispenza, that a lot of you know also. I just think he's amazing. I mean, I know that there's some controversies and everything, and I understand some of the marketing, techniques that he uses and recycled information, but that doesn't take away from his brilliance in my book, and what he can teach all of us. I mean, I healed lifelong autoimmune illness just before my 60th birthday, but by just doing the mind over matter and doing the good things to my body, basically. I know it works. I know the placebo effect, and how we can leverage the placebo effect to really heal ourselves and to convince our subconscious that we're not sick, and then the body starts to follow suit over time. It's really amazing how powerful our minds are, and the mind becomes more powerful when we charge it with the energies of the heart. So that it's all going to come back to heart brain coherence on the Medium channel. Right? You guys know me well enough now, right? So here's our frequency for the week. Passion. We've gotten passion many times, not recently though. And the frequency of passion reminds us that beneath every intense emotion lies a hidden gem of insight, balance, and calm. It assists us in finding the balance within this intensity, moving us from chaos to the calm of the core, where we can let its long-lasting wisdom fill us up. Even with glasses, it's hard to read this fine print. It's very solar energy, right? There's a lot of reds, oranges, but there's like some of the cooler blues in the middle. So, passion. passion is within the word compassion, right? There's a lot to word origins too, and how words are put together. Passionate about helping and loving people, right? So our passion drives our inspiration. Inspire comes from in spirit, right? Inspire. So let's ignite our passions this week also as well. And all right. You know what? I think we covered a lot today. I do. I'm not going to do the other divination cards because, like I said, I'm really working through a lot of my own purging and cleansing and all that. So I've got to rest and honor my own health and my own process now. Not to worry, everybody. I'm doing great, but I'm having some symptoms show up in my process of clearing the old and ascending to the new. So I'm going to do that. Take care of myself, and so what's my schedule? Monday for the spirit mind people. That's our inner core community. We have our I think we have our Zoom meeting, so we'll connect and chat about things. Tuesday, I believe we are doing that's the new moon forecast. I'm also so Tuesday's going to be a busy day because I'm going to release it. I might release the video Wednesday, so I'm doing the live stream. But Tuesday or Wednesday, so very important new moon forecast. This is probably the most significant new moon of the year, though I know I've said that for other new moons, so I don't mean to be like a broken record with that, but this with the aspects that are coming up, I'm like, holy cow, basically. So this is extremely important. So we're going to do the forecast, and Wednesday is something else. I think that's on Patreon again. We're doing channeling on Patreon. Then Thursday, Heather and I on the new moon are going to do our healing and channeling here on the Medium channel. So that's the schedule coming up. Again, you guys like the video. If you're enjoying this, and that might help the algorithm for more to see it. If you're new and you like what we do here, please subscribe, and then more of our videos show up on your home page. That's, to me, really the benefit of being a subscriber. You have more access to our material, and I think that's it. So I love you guys. We'll see you next time. Have a beautiful Sunday.